3, 2, 1. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Welcome to 321 Liftoff. My name is Wayne Belden, and I'm the president of Belden Communications, publisher of the Space Coast Fun Guide and SpaceCoastFunGuide.com. And we'll be bringing you 321 Liftoff every week, talking about tourism in Florida's fabulous Space Coast. With me are your hosts, Pete Lynch, known as Promo Pete, the Director of Business Development for the Space Coast Fun Guide and SpaceCoastFunGuide.com, and Bonnie King, former Deputy Director of the Space Coast Office of Tourism, as well as past President of the Florida Film Commission. Pete, Bonnie, we are thrilled to have you both as co-hosts of 321 Liftoff.
Hey, wow.
We're here.
Hey, we are live at the Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex, where we are going to experience and hear all about the new attraction that is here for kids ages 2 to 12 called Planet Play. And we're going to talk with Therrin Protze, and he is the CEO of the Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex. And we're going to hear all about how this universe is now a children's playground. 321 Liftoff is brought to you in part by the Beachside Hotel in Cocoa Beach, the perfect place that you can stay while you make your plans to visit this very famous attraction. Lots going on, so I want to welcome my co-host, Mr. Promo Pete Lynch.
Thank you so much. It is awesome to be here at Planet Play. We got here a little bit earlier, and we were watching some kids climb up there.
You were playing. I saw you playing. Yeah,
of course, you got to play. But there was a kid, he was climbing up, and he looked at his dad, and he said, "Dad, this is the coolest park ever." And I just thought that was the coolest thing, because it is so cool in there, guys. We'll show you some video too. We'll check it out. But they're climbing through, they're seeing all this kind of stuff. And, we saw some kids climbing through a wormhole and sliding down the asteroid slide. And they even get to step on Saturn's rings. Kids not only have fun, but they're learning at the same time, which is really, really important. And this attraction is a great way for kids to explore.
I love it.
So also joining us today is John Belden, the Vice President of Belden Communications. Hello, sir.
How we doing, guys?
Good.
I know it's supposed to be ages 2 through 12. It's for kids, but I think big kids like ourselves, we enjoy it just as much, because I walked around, saw some of the sites, and fantastic. I know we'll get into it here in a little bit, but I feel like a kid again as I watch these children having a great time. I'm jealous, and that's why I jump in there with it. I know 2 words that describe this playground as well, and that is immersion and interactive. The playground is very physical and hands-on, which I love, interactive, total involvement. And while the kids play, parents can sit over in their comfortable lounge and actually watch their kids while enjoying beverages like coffee, wine, and my favorite, a cold beer.
Oh, sounds like good.
They got I know you saw your Bonnie.
I know.
You saw it earlier.
I checked it out. Also, back with us also was Wayne Belden. We've missed you, the president of Belden Communications. He hasn't been with us for a couple of weeks. We're glad you're back. And we're glad that you're able to join us here at the Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex.
What a great time to return and be a part of this new attraction. They's kids, they're the next generation of potential space travelers.
True.
And so here to tell us about it is Therrin Protze, who's the Chief Operating Officer for Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex.
Welcome.
Well, thank you very much for having me. We're excited as well. Planet Play is something that's 3 years in the making. And,
awesome.
You hit the nail on the head. When we first started out, we really wanted to create something that is for the smaller children, the ones that will be going to Mars and living on Mars. And the challenge was to create an experience that is so interactive but educational. And we really went off the mindset of a 70% physical, 30% digital. A lot of kids are on iPads nowadays and all sorts of other touch devices. And we really wanted to just, let them climb, let them explore. But to do it in a way where it teaches them. So, one of my favorite pieces of it is this giant LED screen where they stomp on stars.
Yeah.
And they create actual constellations, and then they get fun facts about those constellations, and it appears right in front of them on this giant LED screen. But they get to jump and actually create the constellation on the stars, which I think was a very creative way by the team to make that happen. And then all the other pieces you talk about. So,
well, you say 3 years in the making. It's amazing because, we've been a part of this tourism arm for the Kennedy Space Center, and we've talked to you many times in the past about a lot of different things going on. But 3 years in the making, and then to see it here, yeah. I was mentioning to you before that I went online and I looked on the internet and saw pictures and everything. Let me tell you, they excited me just seeing the pictures, but when I came here and you actually see the physical and what the kids are doing and playing and interacting and everything, it's just an amazing sight.
No, it's a lot of fun to see. You know, we go off a saying here. We like to say renderings to reality. So, you know, you get in that design phase and you see all these pretty pictures, and then slowly as it starts to take shape many times throughout my career, you start to lose that rendering, you know, that really cool look. And we really stayed focused to make sure that rendering that was created and inspired all of us became an actual reality. And
Are you part of that? Are you part of that design team?
Yeah.
Do you get to give your input and everything?
yep, I work with NASA.
Wow.
And
Awesome.
we sit in a room and we just
Come up with ideas.
Come up with ideas, and next thing you know, one idea turns into another. You know, you mentioned the coffee wine bar, and you know that came in later.
Well, you know, your parents, you want to sit down, let your kids have
Right,
fun.
Yep.
So they get to sit down and enjoy, and you got Wi-Fi here,
Right.
so they're on
Yep.
the internet, they're
It's
doing their thing.
On tap, so you know
Yeah.
it's fresh.
Yeah.
That's important.
Right.
That
To
is
us
true.
connoisseurs.
You know, and it's kind of automated too. So we went a little bit with technology in that area. But you know, to your point, I mean, then they're giving them kind of the parents a cool lounge, and then they have a giant monitor in front of them that looks like a coffee table. That's an interactive screen where they can learn space trivia. Learn
Air
about-
hockey.
or even air hockey.
Yeah, that's what I caught my
I
attention.
see a lot of kids battling their parents with that, so it makes for a fun family experience. But again, you hit the nail on the head. You got big kids and little kids. I love watching the parents climb with their young ones, and it's just a blast to see.
That's something that caught my attention. So I have a 5-year-old, and anytime we drive by any type of drive-through type, fast food chain with the play area, he always wants to run in there. And of course, I don't go to those types of places for a number of reasons. One thing that you guys did it was very smart when you designed it, was when I came in here, I watched the child that went up the steps to make his way down. And the father, there was enough room for the steps for the adults to go up there, because we all, as parents, have been in that situation where we're saying it's time to come down, and you can't get up there to get them.
Yeah.
Here you can. So, and it's fun because then they too can get up there, and then you got a really cool slide that goes all the way down from the second level, which was, you zip through that thing. That's awesome.
You go through an asteroid field. It looks pretty cool. But I got to ask you, because as an adult, you're standing there watching these kids go down the slide, and I want to go down that slide.
Heck yeah.
Are you allowed to, or you're not? They don't. You can.
Yeah. I've been down many times myself, so yes, you can go down.
Oh,
and
okay.
You should
have a race.
And you do zip. Now, the cool thing about that slide, too, I don't know if you've had a chance to see, but it actually rotates every 10 minutes. So you go down and knock out asteroids as you go down the slide, and then the next version is you turn into a rocket. And
That's
Oh,
cool.
that-
I didn't see that.
Wow.
and you're a rocket going down the slide.
Wow.
So the bigger you are, is it a bigger rocket?
No, it actually, yeah, it should be in many cases. If you put me in there, it should be
Right?
a bigger rocket. But
That's funny.
yeah, so it actually changes, and you can do different things all over the place. You know, and with the satellites, I'm really proud of what the team created with the satellite factory, and that is where the kids actually color, and then they put underneath this really cool scanner, and their color creation of the satellite comes up on the screen. You can even have their name on it. But the cool thing about it, on the back, there's all sorts of fun facts that are about that satellite, which are actual satellites. You know, we have Juno, which is around Jupiter. We have Parker Solar Probe, which is exploring the sun as we speak. And we have Cassini, which explored Saturn. So everything you see here has a real NASA story tied to it, and the kids can learn from those things.
See,
and
That's
it's not fictional.
what it's all about.
That's brilliant on your part.
Yeah.
Right? To
Great.
you're incorporating the fun,
Right.
and so they're having fun and learning. It doesn't just feel like it's a school lesson. So I think that's very, very smart.
Yeah, it's just having great vision, really, and then implementing whatever you have to do to make it come reality.
When the Kennedy Space Center's always been at the forefront of technology, like that's always been a thing here. But when you really walk into Planet Play, this new exhibit, everything, the technology is just outstanding. We see a lot in this area. You know, there's so much to do here on the Space Coast. But when you walk into Kennedy Space Center, and just the slide, everybody's like, it's a slide, it's awesome. But no, it's digital. You're flying down a rocket ship. And John mentioned the arcade games over there. You know, when the parents are sitting there playing the air hockey. But no, you didn't just put air hockey on there. You put trivia, and then you put all this other stuff on there. There's so much to do, in this room. And I think the big thing is trying to explain to everybody how truly massive this is. Yeah. Because it's 3 stories.
Right.
We say Planet Play. It's an area where you can come and have fun and learn. But no, this is a huge area.
And I was standing over here when we're on the second floor right here, and I walked over, and there's this portion that's this little circle in the floor. I'm not sure where you call it. And I saw the little kids going down there, and they're kind of working their way back down to the first And I was like, I want to try that. I don't know if I'm technically supposed to or not, but everything it does, it grabs your attention. It's fun to kind of tinker, and then you're learning as you go. And 3 stories of fun. I mean, this is the type of thing that you should definitely, get yourself an annual pass. And, I've got little kids, so we do the theme parks. We always need a break. There's no better break. The temperature is right in here. You've got you've got beverages for the adults. The kids can go run around and have a good time. I mean, this is where you would see me 90% of the point, right here.
Yeah, we expect to be probably pretty packed in July, August.
I can imagine.
Air conditioning, and that was a big thing for us too, to make sure that it was inside and comfortable for everyone.
Smart and comfortable seats too, I must say.
Yeah, good to hear.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny, when we first built it, and we had this steel structure for Saturn, and I walked in on the bottom floor, and these ceilings here are almost 60 feet high. Wow. And I'm looking up at Saturn, and I'm going, oh boy, I hope we don't have any scared kids, but. It's amazing watching them go right up these.
I was going to say, I didn't see any kids that were scared.
Kids do not have fear.
They
have no
right
fear.
Up,
now, I'm curious because I didn't get to go up to see but the Saturn Rings are very impressive, and the kids get to walk on the ring, or?
Yeah, they can actually, and we do have ADA. All of our tunnels.
Okay, great.
We have those capability as well, and Saturn happens to be one that is ADA compliant. But they can actually walk up the tower into Saturn. There's actually, kind of fun facts about Saturn when you arrive there. And then they get to walk out on Saturn's rings, and then we have these ball shooters that they can they can then shoot balls into the actual satellites again. We call them satellite buddies, but again, it's Juno, Cassini, and Parker Solar Probe. And next,
it's unbelievable.
while they're shooting there, next to is the actual pictures of the satellites that are in space at this point in time, so they see the connection, and that's what So yeah, they can actually stand on Saturn's rings and shoot targets at satellites and have fun with it.
I spoke to a family when I first got here that was down here from Jacksonville, and they saw Planet Play on social media, so you guys are obviously doing a lot of social media, and they came down to spend the day here specifically for Planet Play because they saw how much fun it would be, and the day, their kids happened to be home from school today. Either that or they're playing hooky and she didn't want to tell me. I don't know. but either way, what a great thing to do because, again, Mom was just comfortable sitting relaxed, and the kids, I mean, it was, I think it was 6 and 10, I think, were the 2 ages, and they had a blast. So again, you have a great attraction here, and I definitely imagine. And
they'll have a great show and tell when they go back to school too. Can you imagine?
Is about to begin for your family.
So let's go back
Florida's Space
because Therrin, you've been here a while. You've been through a lot of the building and the renovation that's been done here at Kennedy Space Center. So give us a little background on you and how the story of you and how you got here and got this fabulous job.
Over 4,000
guess the short answer is
traveled a distance more than 500 times the distance from the Earth to the Moon, and was the last space shuttle to put Americans in orbit.
Honored to do so. I've been with Belden for almost 14 years.
And now, you can go nose to nose with Space Shuttle Atlantis at Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex.
Florida, my wife pretty much led
Space Shuttle Atlantis is the only shuttle on display in the world with its payload doors open, just like on its mini missions, complete with a full-scale replica of the Hubble Space Telescope and a chance to learn about the shuttle program's 30-year history from a vantage point like no other.
No better way
Train
than I can.
in the astronaut training simulator area, featuring
Yeah.
training consoles and interactive experiences that allow you to not only practice landing a space shuttle, but also take the controls and dock with the International Space Station. Once you've seen Space Shuttle Atlantis up close and completed your training, you'll be inspired and ready for the shuttle launch experience. Get ready to take the ride of your life and learn what it's like to launch in the shuttle, climb on board, and feel the rumble and shake as you go forward and experience the feeling of what astronauts went through as they accelerated to 17,500 miles an hour on their 8.5-minute rocket ride to orbit. A veteran Space Shuttle commander guides you through the launch sequence and prepares you for this high-definition audio-visual simulation that is like no other. Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex is also the only place in the world where you can take a walk under the largest rocket ever built at the Apollo Saturn V Center.
And a young lady
Saturn
told me
V
one day
was
we
one
have
of the
to do
most
something in
powerful.
Atlantis, which we just opened. I said, explain to me. He said, a young mother came to me today and said, where's the nursing room? And I didn't even know we had one at the time, but she's explaining to me the story, and she said, the nursing room's upstairs, and the young mom goes, I can't wait to see NASA's nursing room. It has to be so cool.
Right?
At the time, it was a closet with a chair. And so, right. So we since spruced it up. But it really struck a chord in me that everything here, because it's NASA, and the technology behind everything that NASA does, has to engage people in the way that they feel that they're looking into the future.
It's a lot to live up to.
Right. So walking around, that's been kind of our motivation is what can we do to really give that sense that you're kind of walking into a more futuristic place. I mean, Atlantis is gorgeous. The shuttle launch experience is new and exciting. We have a new one we can talk about in a little bit, that's coming here next year. But we added piezoelectric tiles where people jump on these tiles that create electricity that actually launch rockets on a video screen that are actual rockets. So they actually power up the rocket to launch it. So creating an experience that they've never seen before is really what our true vision is all about.
So when you came here, Atlantis had just opened, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so then you started to work on another exhibit that was going to open. Which one was that one?
Well, initially that was Forever Remembered inside of Atlantis.
Okay.
And then, there's been a multitude of other projects since then.
The shuttle launch experience. Now you were in. That was the shuttle launch experience. Was that before you or after?
That's before.
That was
okay.
Okay.
That was actually Atlantis was actually built around the shuttle launch experience.
Okay.
That's a fun one too.
That is a fun one.
Yeah, buddy.
Well, you're absolutely right. And people want to feel
Right.
space. So that's through all of our research. One of the things was they wanted more things for the younger generation, and hence Planet Play was created. But the other thing is they want to feel space. So, I'll go right into our next big attraction, which is Gateway, which is opening in March of 2022. Hopefully everything goes on schedule. But it's already, started to be constructed. And it is a massive facility of the new and next of NASA. Some things are going to be in there that are very exciting. A lot of what the Orion is going to be in there. We have the Starliner and SpaceX Dragon capsule, as well as the SpaceX booster is going to be hung in there. The Dream Chaser, and then there's going to be a huge satellite wall and all sorts of interactives, and just really again exciting, and what's coming forth. But then at the same point in time, on the second level, we're going to have a airport, or we're calling a spaceport of the 2050s, and that is. People will be able to walk upstairs, and it's going to be our version of what an airport, because hopefully private tourism to space will be something of a regular thing here in the near future. I know that's many of the space companies' visions. So we're kind of creating that, and we're working to create 4 separate journeys or 4 separate terminals that will then take you into what we think a version of a space plane will look like. And then you're going to go on this journey. But, again, trying to be clever, you're going to go on journeys that are going to tell the NASA story. So you're going to go see TRAPPIST-9, the other solar system we now know about. You're going to go and look at the visions of the robotic explorers that are out there, Juno and some of the other satellites that are here represented in Planet Play, as well as learn more about the moon. So it's almost going to, in a very simplistic term, it'll feel like you're on a Grand Canyon tour, but for space. And you're going to learn, and it's going to be this motion-based, in a dome concept.
Can you imagine?
And it's just
utter awe.
Yeah, we're hoping everybody kisses the ground when they get back.
Wow.
But it'll give you 4 different journeys to go on, all in one building.
Spaceports.
Right.
Wow.
And then on the top, we're going to have an observatory with a telescope, and we'll be shooting throughout the complex, shooting actual images of what we gather on the telescope. So it's a very interactive building, and we're very excited about it, and looking for the next.
You think about, when we first sat down, you had mentioned that you're showing exhibits, and this is for the kids that one day we'll be living on Mars. That statement just resonates, like where we're going as humans, and the.
Oh, we have to.
I know,
right?
The progress that we've made, and it's just like, wow, going to Mars, living on Mars, and you're talking about the spaceports and. I pray that it is in my lifetime where I get to see it and all this coming to fruition. That's awesome.
Oh, me too.
Could be your kid. Could be your kid going.
Yeah.
Well, like if you don't eat your dinner, you're going to Mars, young man.
Exactly.
Talk about the technology advances, though. Like sometimes our cell phones don't have signal to, text somebody, but they're heading to Mars and being able to send out, videos and pictures and, just the fact that technology is available is just amazing to me.
One of our friends at a hotel here, and I won't name names because I don't think I'm allowed to do that, but she received a phone call from an astronaut at the Hubble Space Station thanking her for taking such good care of the family. And it was crystal clear. And I said, there's parts in DeLand that I can't get with AT&T. How is that possible? So it's just, you guys are, NASA and Kennedy is just, it's incredible with the technology.
Wow. Let's talk about one of the big exhibits that you can see from the road when you get here. And that's the Shuttle Atlantis. The entrance, I don't know what you call that, the introduction to the Atlantis exhibit is amazing. And that's one of those, you talked about emotion a little bit ago, and when I've probably seen it 20 times, and I get
don't give anything away.
No. But I have goosebumps right now thinking about the presentation.
And it starts on Florida's Space Coast.
Without giving it away, let's talk a little bit about that. Just maybe the reactions you get from people the first time they see that.
Space Shuttle Atlantis was one of the workhorses of NASA's shuttle fleet. It orbited the Earth over 4,000 times, traveled a distance more than 500
I'm sold already.
From the Earth to the Moon, and was the last space shuttle to put Americans in orbit.
I always say I come out maybe crying or shedding a tear.
And now,
Patriotic.
so
patriotic.
Definitely. Space Shuttle Atlantis at Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex. Space Shuttle Atlantis is the only shuttle on display in the world with its payload doors open, just like on its many missions, complete with a full-scale replica of the Hubble Space Telescope, and a chance to learn about the shuttle program's 30-year history from a vantage point like no other.
We're fantastic.
Trained in the Astronaut Training Simulator area, featuring 21 consoles and interactive experiences that allow you to not only practice landing a space shuttle, but also take the controls and dock with the International Space Station. Once you've seen Space Shuttle Atlantis up close and completed your training, you'll be inspired and ready for the shuttle launch experience. Get ready to take the ride of your life and learn what it's like to launch in the shuttle. Climb on board.
I heard about what the work that went into even hanging. This is the days or weeks or whatever.
Can't even imagine.
As they
and just the
but
you guys want everything
500 miles an hour on their 8.5-minute rocket ride to orbit. A veteran space shuttle commander guides you through the launch sequence.
I have seen,
the
machines that move like rockets. What do they say? It's the world's slowest Ferrari.
Kennedy Space Center
and
Visitor
I can
Complex
imagine
is also the only place in the world where you can take a walk under the largest rocket ever built at the Apollo Saturn V Center. The Saturn V was one of the most powerful rockets ever built. It was the machine that took 12 astronauts to the moon, including Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin, preparing mankind for the journey to Mars and beyond. Want to experience and feel the moon for yourself? You can see and touch an actual moon rock brought back by the Apollo astronauts. Ever wanted to see behind the scenes at Kennedy Space Center? Take one of the many exclusive bus tours and go where most humans have never been, and time travel to the early days of the space program, and take a peek at the future of space exploration. There is simply no better way to get a glimpse of Kennedy Space Center than with their bus tours. Kennedy Space Center is home to some of the largest movie screens.
I would have never thought of that.
Oh, wow.
So,
I'll remember that now.
So it's a little fun fact.
They call that an Easter egg, I think, right?
Yeah, a little Easter egg.
Shot by astronauts.
I was thinking that was the best photo op, marketing guy. I'm like, from a photography side, 43 points.
I love the fact in this day and age, there's so much division in a lot of ways, whether it's sports, politics, or anything. But when you come into something like Atlantis, everybody's united.
You forget, right?
Everybody. You got people from all nationalities, from everywhere, right?
And boy, we need it now.
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely. And it's something that grown men that are tough and get teary eyed.
Absolutely.
And the smiles. And again, we all become, we're all here together. We're a man. We're all men. And it's incredible.
I know as a veteran myself, it really had a tremendous impact on me. I became very emotional. And I also noticed foreigners who were not from our country, but other, standing and looking in an amazement.
Absolutely.
But looking in amazement at us as a country. Mm-hmm. Well, look at what we've done. Yeah. I remember when I was in Thailand is when we made the launch to go to the moon. And I remember how that whole country, to the Thais, the moon is very, very sacred in their religion. And when we landed on the moon, they looked at us like we were gods.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, us GIs,
Yep.
and we were so proud. You know,
Yep.
It really was something. And this Atlantis attraction really lends to that. Right now, for those of you that are listening, that may be up in Wisconsin, Minnesota, wherever it's freezing cold, book a plane, get down here, and come to this attraction.
It is. It's a definite a must see, and people come every day from all over the world.
But there's so much to see, and considering what month we're in and what we know happened yesterday, January 28th, which remember Challenger. I want to talk about the Space Mirror, because to me that is such a wonderful, sacred place that you guys have done such a great job with. Can you kind of explain what you can see when you're there?
Well, I give all the credit to the Astronaut Memorial Foundation there, because they really operate the Space Mirror. So Thad Altman and his team and board do a phenomenal job making sure that those ceremonies are, just as honorable as they should be. It was a sad day. Remembered all that we've lost in the space program, and the Challenger will forever be in my memory. I watched it on TV, and so proud to see a teacher and a private citizen go up, and then to have something like that happen. But space is a very dangerous occupation.
And they know when they go on that, when they go in that shuttle or that rocket, they know that they're test pilots, really.
Absolutely.
Right, but it's part of history. It's how you learn, and
exactly. If we didn't have people like that were so brave and ready to go, we
couldn't have gotten here.
Exactly.
If we hadn't gone through that.
So exactly. But I think standing in front of that mirror, and when the sun hits it the certain way and their names light up, it's such a beautiful remembrance and a beautiful memory. And I think it's wonderful that it's here at the Kennedy Space Center.
No, I agree. And, we go back to that project that I first got assigned to when I came to Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex, was the Forever Remembered exhibit. And, that was the first time we were actually going to show artifacts from the tragedies, both Columbia and Challenger. And we also had personal artifacts that were gathered from the families that are now in there. And I can tell you, we let the families obviously preview it. And I was sweating bullets, to say the least. Did we do it right? Is it honorable enough? And I'll never forget, June Scobie Rogers was walking, looking at the personal artifacts, and I walk up to her, and she just goes, one word. And I say, oh boy. And,
oh boy.
And she goes, perfect.
Oh, nice.
Awesome.
And that still struck a chord in me, and that's all we wanted to do, was to make sure we did it right. And
that's awesome.
Then we went on to make sure we honored the gentleman from Apollo 1, which we opened up in 2017. I mean, Martha Chaffee grabbed me when we opened Forever Remembered, says, you will get it done by the 50th anniversary. And I said, yes, ma'am. And we opened it up on the 50th anniversary of Apollo 1. So that's at the Saturn V Center as well. So it is taking the time to go to the Space Mirror and to look at Forever Remembered. And remember, it is a very dangerous occupation. But you're right, they know, and they want to move the civilization forward. So they're willing to take those risks. But it's always honorable to stop and to take a moment to remember their sacrifice and what they've done for our country.
Well, I think the presentation I attended yesterday, like I told you before, and the flower ceremony at the end when everybody came up and put their, it really was touching, the bell salute, as they read each astronaut's name. Absolutely touching. And again, the Astronaut Memorial Foundation really did an amazing job, and it was touching, very touching.
So let's talk, to change the subject a little bit, talk about things that might be a little bit different when they come in, because now with COVID and everything, you guys have taken a lot of precaution, have done great opportunity for people to be able to come in and still experience. But can you give us, for people who don't know, what you're doing regarding COVID safety?
Sure. Obviously, we're following the CDC guidelines and making sure that we do stay in constant communication with the other similar attractions around us. So everybody does have to wear a mask. You do get your temperature taken when you come in. There's hand sanitizers everywhere. We make sure that we sanitize and clean on a frequent basis. We have specific people cleaning in certain areas. So we do everything we possibly can, and there's signage everywhere regarding social distancing, and there's constant announcements. And there are our managers are walking the complex, making sure that folks are doing the best they can to keep everyone safe, because that's what it's all about.
It's great.
Yeah, you feel very safe when you come here. You know, I've walked around the last 2 days, and I see people going around and spraying and wiping down things right after somebody's been through there. So it does feel like that you guys have really made a major effort, and you can see it. From a visitor standpoint, you can absolutely see that they're taking the effort. So it feels very safe to come out here, and please do.
So one of the other things I want to mention is, it's great. Space is really making a comeback in a lot of ways. Obviously, we've had more rocket launches here now than ever before, which is going to be great for this year. We're looking forward to that. But also, there's a TV show called The Right Stuff that is now on the National Geographic Channel, and it highlights the 7 original astronauts. And it's great because it's educational in the way that, again, it tells people about how we got started and what the inspiration was and what these men knew what they were getting into. I'm hoping they have a season 2. I think that's going to happen, but it is great for our area because then people get to come here and actually see those locations and see, because this is where it all began. Those are great stories to tell, and they're telling them on TV. So
and it was a funny story about that one is that the old Astronaut Hall of Fame, which is now here at the Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex, which is just 6 miles down the road, and they actually did the beach scene was at the old Astronaut Hall of Fame. So it was fun watching the show, and I could see the building. I know exactly where they're at.
Oh yeah.
So to actually see all that here. And look at the area. It's really fun to see. Yeah, so I'm hoping for a season 2 too.
Yeah, it'll be great, and it's a good way to promote the Space Coast and everything. Because whenever we promote the Space Coast, we always tell them, "Hey, we are the home to the Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex."
And we proudly say that.
Proudly say it for sure.
I mean, over 30 launches last year.
Yeah.
There's a drive to 48. So I joke around with guests that someday people will say, "Well, I missed the launch." I say, "Well, there'll be another one at 1 o'clock."
Right.
It's gonna get that way, and it's exciting. It really is. And watching SpaceX and Blue Origin and ULA's, Boeing, Lockheed Martin, all of them, with the foot on the gas to get things rolling is really, really something to see.
So we proudly have Kennedy Space Center in the Space Coast Fun Guide, the visitor publication that we produce, and it's on spacecoastfunguide.com. And as you know, people from all over the country request these guides before they get down here, and it seems like every one of every other. It's Kennedy Space Center, Kennedy Space Center, Kennedy Space Center.
I had one reach out to me that didn't send me an email. They actually called me, and they're from Nova Scotia.
Yeah.
And they wanted to have all information about it, as much as I could tell them.
Yep.
And so when we got to the part about this new attraction, I told them, I said, well, listen to our podcast because you'll hear everything, right from our chief operating officer of the Kennedy Space Center, and he'll be giving you all the information. So listen to it. And if you got any other questions, give me a call back. So.
And did you tell them where they could stay? Did you tell them they could stay
Absolutely.
at the Beachside Hotel?
Most
So
certainly
it's
did.
just our opportunity to say...
It's minutes away from here.
Yeah.
So how cool is that? You come down, and I mentioned last week I had somebody that called me from Jersey, matter of fact, and was asking about where to stay, and he'd seen that we talk about Beachside all the time. So, you come to Beachside Hotel and Suites. They have everything for you. They've got a buggy. You can get your boogie boards, your chairs, your bike, everything that you need to go to the beach. And then you're only minutes away. I'd say 10, 15 minutes from Kennedy Space Center.
Yeah.
I mean,
from there, yeah.
It's a great place to hang out when you're at the beach and the pool, the duck dive bar, everything. But then it's conveniently located, and a vast majority of people that are coming to the Space Coast are coming to Kennedy Space Center. So.
The restaurants with the view out here are phenomenal.
Your restaurants, let me tell you guys got me hooked on macaroons, by the way.
It's all he's been talking about, these macaroons.
And I got people searching for me right now because you guys at the Space Coast Food Festival, when you think of Kennedy Space Center, you don't necessarily think of how great their chefs are. But just like everything else in your park, your chefs are out of this world. And so...
Good one.
You like that?
I do.
All right. So at the food festival, you guys won, and you won making a twist. It was macaroons with key lime in them. Ooh. And let me tell you, I am hooked now, and I'm going to have to maybe come call Therrin, maybe call in a favor, because I know it was a special thing you guys made, but your restaurants are awesome.
Well, no, we won the Clam Chowder Fest.
Several times. For sure.
Chef Gidget, when she gets going. So, I'm more than happy to make those for you.
Oh, man, that'd be
so
fantastic.
She's amazing.
Yep.
So is there anything else futuristic or anything happening in the future that maybe we could put on our radar that we know is going to happen? I know you've got Gateway coming in 22.
Yeah, and there's more on the plate.
That you're already thinking about?
Oh, yeah. We have a full master plan. It was really kicking into gear. Obviously, the pandemic slowed things down a little bit, but all I can say is hold on to your hats, because when we start picking up again, I'm assuming that vision will come back in frame, and it'll be full speed ahead on some of the new and exciting things that we're planning at Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex. I mean, I'd love to talk to you about it, but I'd rather have it more concrete, but it is big. So because the NASA story is something so fun to tell, and just with the Space Coast lighting up, pun intended, with rocket launches and everything, it's a great time to be part of it.
And the great thing about the NASA story is it just continues,
Right.
which is great.
No, yeah,
Great opportunity.
Yeah, this year we had the return of humans, human flight.
Yes.
So I mean,
Yes.
the story of NASA and everything that's happening here is growing and continuing to be really exciting.
Interesting. You have a lot of land here, right?
Yep.
So to grow and expand, because I know when I saw the building that's going on for the Gateway, right? That
Correct.
big building that's going up, I thought, wow, there's more land that you can do. So you can really think far ahead with a lot of things that are going. I mean, how much land you have here that can be utilized?
Well, we want to make sure we stay within our environmental stipulations, and we're very much all about environmental responsibility.
Awesome.
But there are options that we can move buildings to other places and move folks into there. And all I can say is that when we do get rolling again, the one that's going to be here, the size of Gateway, which is a 46,000 square feet building that's 3 stories.
Unbelievable.
It's going to be the size. The next one is going to be one of the buildings of the 3 buildings that we're looking at will be that size. So, we're potentially looking at well over 100,000 square feet of an attraction. And then I personally will like to say that I want folks to feel some G's and feel weightlessness. So that is
there you go.
I'd love
that
to
is
be
our
weightlessness.
goal. Yes. The only problem we have with that is you just can't eat a whole lot before you go on there.
Right,
So,
right.
If anybody's ever been on the what they call the Vomit Comet. So
Vomit Comet?
Yeah, it's where they have a plane that takes you up, and then you get a parabolic dive, and you actually feel weightlessness, but it's tough on the tummy.
Yeah,
Boy.
sure.
Alrighty then, yeah.
That I can imagine.
But one thing
that
that
sounds awesome.
my family talks about all the time, and I don't know that people realize that either, is that the drive to the Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex is so beautiful.
We saw some beautiful birds on the way here.
There's alligators
Yeah.
on the side of the road sometimes.
Well,
The
you are
birds
in the middle
great.
of the Merritt Island National Wildlife Refuge. A lot of
Right.
people
So,
don't
yeah.
even
I was gonna say
understand that.
Yeah.
And you are absolutely right. And not only that, I'm glad you brought it up. I don't want to take it away from you
No,
in case
it's
you're going to
fine.
mention the same thing. But when you are driving in, and when you clear the land of Courtney Parkway or whatever, and you're on your property, you're on your
Right.
property.
You know
and
that.
not only that, but now you're driving in and you have that whole new main entrance. And
beautiful.
before that, you see the beautiful building of Blue Origin. And of course, the first thing you're thinking is, what the heck is going on in there? I want to
That's a
go
massive
inside and
building.
see there. And I'm happy to say I have been inside and I've got to see it, which is just amazing. But people are thinking that, right? So then they come around the bend, and then there's the sign that comes into the Kennedy Space Center, the entrance. I know it's been there like a year, but
And the cool
it's still
countdown that's
new.
in there, right?
But the countdown as
Yeah.
you're coming, you're
Yep.
already in the mood. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? You're already
Absolutely.
there.
Yep.
So just kudos to you. I mean, Therrin, great job that you're doing. Love all the stuff that's happening here. Give us the website. Tell us how people can get involved and learn all about you.
Obviously, KennedySpaceCenter.com.
That's easy.
We're very active on social media. Probably last thing that we have I'd like to quickly talk about is the ATX Center, which is the Astronaut Training Experience. So
Yes.
that's our education center for kids who can come in and learn what it's like to train like an astronaut. The simulators, you learn all about that. You're in a virtual reality. Then you're on a microgravity experiment. Then you actually take a trip on a shuttle that's simulated to be like the 2050s. Then you land on Mars and you work on a simulated Mars base and learn all about solar robotics, about what it's going to take to grow plant life. And that, believe it or not, that data that they actually work on is tracked by Veggie Labs, who is a NASA contractor who is learning how to grow on plants on Mars. And then you get to learn all about, astronaut physical needs as well as habitat management, things like that. So it's a very fun experience. So I hope folks can come and enjoy that as well.
Are there age restrictions for that? Like how young? What's the youngest you'll take?
Well, we usually try to stay anywhere between 6 is usually the youngest. We do have some programs. But and then 6 to whenever, because to your point, we do have a lot of big kids.
They do. Man, my son, oddly enough, 3 days ago was asking me about if he wanted to be an astronaut. He brought that up. Now he did say he wanted to go to the sun. I told him that probably wouldn't be a good idea. But he's so the kids these days. It's amazing to me. But you guys are doing your job because it's resonating to them. And well, this is awesome to have a training facility like that.
No,
too.
Thank you. And it's fun. We actually have the astronauts go in. They do the virtual reality work on Mars, and they get a score. Because after you're done, you get a full score of how well you did. But we actually have the scores of the astronauts. So it's fun watching the kids come in and actually try to beat the astronaut scores.
Oh, wow.
Didn't you have a camp at one
goodness.
point, too?
What's that?
Wasn't there a camp at some point,
That's
too?
pretty much it now.
Yeah.
So that's now the astronaut training experience is now the new KSC camp.
So how long is that if they come in? Is that 4 hours, 5 hours?
It can be a myriad of
okay.
options. So you can go all the way up, a 3-day camp. So
great.
There's a lot of things that they can sign up for as much as immersive as they want to get.
How cool is that?
Yeah, it's fun.
As a father, there's really, we 4 of us could all speak about that. There's nothing like watching the joy on your kid's face. And I think when you come to the Kennedy Space Center, no matter where you're at here, the Rocket Garden, whether it's in Planet Play, but seeing the smile on your kid's face is the best feeling in the world. And everywhere you're at here at Kennedy, that happens. So, I appreciate all you do too.
And now the parents smile over at the lounge over here. This is great.
Yeah, no, that's hopefully the goal. What I love to see is when the kid is walking with their parent and they go, "Mom, did you know? Dad, did you know?" And they start rattling off things that they're learning, and their mom and dad are looking down on them proud, and then a little bit, "Oh, I didn't know that," and and that's really, if they can take that home, something that they didn't know before they got here, then that inspires. I remember Christina Koch, who's up on the International Space Station. That was her name at the time. She's since been married, but I remember walking with her when she was an astronaut candidate. And she hadn't been up to space yet, and she goes, "I'm here because I came here when I was 13."
Wow, how awesome is that?
And that's pretty inspiring. And then to see her up on the International Space Station a couple of years later, I'm going, I know her. And you know how she got there, you know how she got inspired. So that really motivates this entire team. That
you're changing lives, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and the parents and the teachers are all part of that too. But it's everybody together. But to your point, we're going to have to someday live off this planet. So let's get those folks who really, all those smart brains that are out there, get them here, get them to learn, inspired, and then take us to other planets and hopefully live on them someday very soon.
Love it.
And there's plenty of stuff in your gift shop, too, that's also very educational, too. So when you leave here, if you're from out of town and you have a flight going back or the long car ride, how my family normally does it, the kids can get some books. And we've come here and met some astronauts where they did the autograph, and then they have a book that they'd sell there. So we'd always buy the book. And I think we've learned so much about, the true story of, what it was like, or what was your first meal, when you came off the thing. That's
don't forget the space ice cream.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, we have to talk about that.
Just don't give it to kids after 9 p.m.
Yeah, it's like a huge Lucky Charm. I love it, man.
Or big kids, John.
It's a good shot in the old adrenaline if you eat that.
You mean I was actually supposed to buy it for my kids? I was just buying it for me.
Well, just wrap it in a brown paper bag.
Yeah, they won't know.
No, but they're very cool. One of the things we talk about on our show, too, is because we put the show out for people that are coming to our area and to find out what's fun to do here. So obviously we want them to come to the Kennedy Space Center, see Atlantis, let your kids run wild in Planet Play, have a lot of fun. But when you have some free time and you're off time, what do you like to do here on the Space Coast? Are there some other things that you could recommend to a visitor that's coming to the area?
Well,
you get probably not a lot of free time.
No,
but what do you?
I'm a simpleton, and being on the Space Coast, I have one word: beach.
Sure.
There you go.
I mean, that's
and sitting there with my wife, just looking out of the ocean, and then and that we're sitting over in the port at one of the great restaurants over there, or many of the restaurants that have a view. And then I've been here going on 7 years and seeing a dolphin.
Oh yeah.
In a natural habitat, still we still point and get all excited. So that it's just, and then you mentioned the birds. I mean, I see a roseate spoonbill as and all the amazing birds and the red hill sand cranes that just walk by your door, and sometimes look in your door. But just amazing wildlife, everything that's out here. I mean, I love Florida. I was born and raised in California.
Okay.
And Sacramento.
Are you a Raider fan?
Niner fan, actually.
Oh, it's going so well.
Yeah, I know. But,
are you a Giants fan or an A's fan?
The only thing I am not is a Cowboys.
All right.
So it's for all the Cowboys fans. I'm sorry out there. Which some of my NASA friends are Cowboys fans, but
that makes it fun.
But the Niners and the Cowboys growing up, that was the way it was.
That was it.
Yeah, but Florida is just out here. It's the restaurants, it's the people, it's the beautiful views. I mean, if I had to say one word where I love to spend my time, it's the beach, just sitting down and just looking at the
It's
awe
peaceful,
of the ocean.
right?
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, hearing it's another great
And we've got, I mean, we say this so many times, but it never gets old saying it. 72 miles of beach, and it feels like every section, there's multiple sections that are different. So you got different experiences. That's why you want to come here over and over and over again. And that's my spot, and it's on the water and just relaxation.
I remember one time I was jogging on the beach, and I thought I saw a black trash bag. And it was, a few hundred yards down the beach. And as I'm running to it, I'm thinking, I'm going to pick it up when I get there. Then all of a sudden, I see it moving. And it was a huge turtle.
Oh, how cool is that, though?
And I'm going, that doesn't get any cooler than that. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So
that's it. I'm just sitting here thinking. We just finished putting our first edition of the Space Coast Fun Guide. Pete just finished, working hard and putting it out there in all the hotels.
It's everywhere
and so
now.
our focus has already shifted onto our next edition, which comes out in July. And as the president of the company, I get to make the command decision that I think it would be a great idea if we put Planet Play on our next cover.
How cool would that be?
Nice.
Wouldn't that be
How cool would
great?
that be? Right in July,
awesome.
right?
Thank
We're talking
you,
about the hot people, and you coming in where it's nice and cool.
That would be great.
That would
Yeah.
be. That sounds
Great
great.
idea.
absolutely, and thank you for that.
Yeah,
That's quite an honor.
Well, it's an honor to have you on there.
And if anybody has any questions for you, they can. We ask people to write to us too, just to say what's going on. So info at spacecoastfunguide.com. And it's amazing. We get a lot of questions from people all across the United States and the UK. I think we had some people, writing in from the UK asking about questions. So we thank you so much, Therrin, for taking the time today to just bring us up to date and to let us experience this wonderful place.
Absolute pun, but it was a total blast.
I like it. You guys are good.
Yeah, so next week we're going to, believe it or not, we're going to be with the Central Brevard Humane Society because they are building a bed and biscuit at the Humane Society.
Love that.
Where when visitors come into the area, if they need to store their dog, cat, or whatever, they'll have a little vacation home to stay at. If you're going on a cruise, which hopefully we're going to hopefully start in the summer, but if they're going on a cruise, they can leave their pets there at the bed and biscuit.
So they get a vacation too.
And they get a vacation.
That's
and
awesome.
the rooms are so cool because they can have their private room if they want with a TV, and they have story time at like 4 o'clock, and they have cookies and milk with the kids. The kids come in and do reading time. So it's going to be a great experience for us to learn about that. And then in addition, they also sponsor the dog surfing contest that happens when we have our surfing festival here over Easter. So she'll be talking to us about the dog surfing festival. And
That is so cool.
They usually have about 10 to 12 dogs that register and go up and surf. And it's amazing to watch. So that's going to be fun. That'll be another fun experience that we have. So we get to introduce, what's wonderful about our podcast, Therrin, is we get to introduce people to wonderful people that are in the Space Coast. And it's great opportunity, great personalities like yourself. So we thank you so much.
I had a 15-year-old Yorkie that I never could potty train, and these people are getting their dogs on surfboards. I don't understand it, where I went wrong, but that's very impressive.
It is very impressive. It's going to be fun.
So this weekend, Bonnie, do you have any plans on things that you're going to be doing this weekend?
No.
No?
Not yet.
You're taking it easy?
I am taking it easy.
How about you, John? You got anything going on this weekend?
You know what? I'm going to tell you. Unfortunately, this is a weekend where I'm getting my taxes prepped, but I really think I'm going to bring the kids here. We came here. My daughter's been here several times. My son, when he was like a year old. This would be a great time to actually come back. He's 5. And I think we're going to come here and check this out. It's going to be a blast.
Very good. How about you, Wayne?
Well, as you know, I went through 2 knee replacements.
And we're glad to have you back here today, for sure.
Feels great. I'm walking around for the first time without pain for many, many years.
And you won't quit kicking me either. I don't know what's wrong with it.
But anyway, so my time is going to be spent with the one leg still has to be elevated.
Sure.
So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to elevate.
There you go.
Okay. Very good. How about you, Therrin? You got any plans?
Just relaxing.
Just relaxing. I'll meet you. I'll see you at the beach, I'm sure.
home remodeling with my son's condo, but yeah, just.
Oh, you do that on the side there?
That'll be fun.
Are you for hire?
Yeah, no, this is forced. Trust me, but no, all good.
And how about you, Pete?
Very
what are you
good.
doing?
Well, he had mentioned the beach. So our plan is to go to Play Linda Beach here in Titusville because we renewed our season pass. And we loved making that drive, too, because of all the animals you can see over there. But our good friends at Beachwave Beachwear officially today are opening their store in Titusville.
That's fantastic.
So that's something they've been working on for a very long
Congratulations,
time.
Beachwave.
So, yeah, to all the people over at Beachwave. So we're going to swing over there, grab some Titusville swag and some Space Coast swag, and then hit up the beach and Play Linda. So,
Sounds like a deal.
yeah, we're
Okay.
excited for them to be open.
We want to thank Phil.
Thank you, Phil.
Absolutely. The podcast doctor, everybody.
He's the man that makes it happen every week. We're very thankful, and that's what makes it turn out so fantastic. So we got some really cool footage of those who've been watching the podcast. Some really cool footage from Planet Play and around. And yes, thank you, Phil.
I want to get a great shot to put on the cover.
Absolutely.
Sounds
We
like-
may have to spend a day here, Therrin.
Yeah, you know,
Doing some
Tough
research.
job.
Yeah.
Tough job.
The wine and beer bar is open.
There you go. All right, everybody. Well, thank you for joining us today, and thank you, Therrin, again for here at Kennedy Space Center. Please come here, check out Planet Play, check out Atlantis. You're going to love it. We're going to have a great time, and we will see you all next week.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Thank you for listening to the 321 Liftoff podcast. I'm Promo Pete, and thank you again, Bonnie King. We had a great episode. Be sure to check us out every week. And if you want more information, visit spacecoastfunguide.com or beldingcommunications.com for everything that we're doing in the area. You can also check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/spacecoastfunguide for all the entertaining things to do in our area. We look forward to seeing you again next week. Until then, take care.